Sounds odd. Coming up, we've got some top guests to bring you, including, first of all, Jon Martin, who's from Citizens Advice Bucks, who are holding a coffee morning at Wycombe Library this morning. It gets underway later on this hour. Runs till about lunchtime. You can find a lot more about what Citizens Advice Bucks does, or do, might be grammatically correct. They're also after some volunteers as well. Jon can tell us more.
We're a fairly new organisation. Previously, before COVID, we were three separate organisations. We were Aylesbury Vale, High Wycombe and Chiltern, and we're now Buckinghamshire. So we now cover the entire county, which is quite a large area. We're primarily based of volunteers. We have a very small team of staff, and it's primarily volunteers, which is why we come out and we are recruiting volunteers at the moment. What we do is quite a hard thing to actually explain, sadly, because we do a lot of different things. So I'm just going to read what the actual aims of the service are very quickly. One of our aims is to provide the advice people need for the problems they face, and this could be any sort of problem, any sort of area. It's to improve policies and practices that affect people's lives. So we actually are part of a campaign with the government to help change policy as well, and things like that. And the final thing is we value diversity, we promote equality, and we challenge discrimination. And they're the three main aims of the service itself. And obviously within that, we help in every sort of area that we can. So housing, debt, employment, consumer, and loads of others. There's tons of different areas that we work in. And obviously we have a number of different ways that you can get advice from us. So the primary way is actually through our advice line, which is 0808 278 7938. And then we also have a web submission portal on our website, which is cabucks.org.uk. And on there you can send basically a request to us for us to call you back with an advisor.
Because I guess as well that you must see so many different people in such a range of circumstances as well.
Yes. Oh, yes, we do. And every day is different in that sense for us. It's never always the same problems. It's never always the same people. And the situations are different, and that's why we have to be able to adapt to that. And yeah, it's quite difficult at times, but it is very rewarding as a volunteer and as a member of staff.
So what's the main aim behind this morning's coffee morning at the library?
Basically, we're in the process of a massive recruitment drive at the moment, and primarily, again, we are primarily volunteers. And the reason that I'm going is I lead the admin volunteer team, which is a bit more behind the scenes. We do a little bit of the face-to-face stuff, mainly at the doors and on the phones occasionally. But I'm recruiting for that team, and obviously I cover 5 offices now, which is Aylesbury, Wycombe, Buckingham, Chesham, Amersham. And I'm recruiting for volunteers into that team. Just so you're aware that they're very different to advisors. We are recruiting for advisors as well, but obviously that's a little bit of a different process. Because with advisors, you have a 6-month training plan, and you have to go through that, and then you go live on the phone. Whereas for me, you come in, you do a little bit of training behind the scenes, and then I'll get you shadowing another admin volunteer working with myself quite closely. And at that point, all the training at that point is on the job sort of thing, and we'll just train as we go. So it can be quite quick to get somebody in. For example, I had somebody come in to an event similar to this in Aylesbury. He spoke to me, he had an interview 2 days later with me, and he's already started. So it can be quite quick. It's quite a quick turnover in that sense, because we are, as I said, we are going through quite a big recruitment drive at the moment and trying to get as many as we can.
And it sounds like this is something which would suit a wide range of people as well, whether they're students, retired people, just someone with a bit of extra time on their hands.
Exactly, and anything at all really. Retired people is what we used to aim for quite a lot, and understandably so, because a lot of them will have just come out of work, trying to find something to do, and it gives them that opportunity to do so. And we find that a lot of our volunteers are in that category. And yes, we are still looking for that. But at the same time, yes, it is also beneficial for people like students or anybody who's got the spare time on their hands, people who can't go back to work for whatever reason. Anything at all, really. The most we're asking for is maybe 1 day a week from you. But obviously we do ask for a minimum of 6 months.
And there must be so many benefits to volunteering as well.
Oh, there is a ton of benefits to volunteering. One of the big ones, and people really don't realise, is actually the increase of social life, because you get to meet a lot of people who are like-minded and who have the similar passion of just wanting to help people. And in some cases, and I will say that stats have proved this, I can't tell you the exact stat because I haven't found it, But in the stats that they did in national, this is not just Citizens Advice, this is national charities across the country, that apparently volunteers have said that it also increases their love life, to do with that as well.
I'm sure many people's interest is just pricked up now.
I was going to say, I was told to say that because it does happen. But no, it does increase your social life, but also just as well as that, it can also increase your skill levels, your experience, things like that, because what you will see at Citizens Advice is very different from what you see in the outside world. Your perception on the world may change because of it, and it will help you grow as a person as well. So there are a lot of benefits to coming and volunteering, as well as just helping quite a useful charity to the general public.
I was going to say, because just your own sort of life experience that you'd get from coming across people in different situations can benefit you going forward as well.
Yes, it can, very highly so. I will tell you a very quick story about myself very quickly. I used to be a client of Citizens Advice before I came to work for them, and they helped me out in a situation where I was not in a good place, let's just say that, and I've come to work for them, and what I've realised is the other side of that. And it does make you see the world differently, and you see a lot of different areas, and it does change your perception of it. And I will say that I've been working for CA for 3 years now, and my perception on the world has changed. And that, obviously, that is a member of staff myself, but as a volunteer, you do get that same experience.
You must have so many other examples as well of people who've been able to help, but have had such a difference made to them too.
Yes, completely. Also, like some of our volunteers that we have also been clients in the past. I do want to speak about one volunteer in particular at the moment, who's a lovely chap in Aylesbury called Gary, and he is funny as anything. He comes in, he is a character. He will talk to anybody, he will introduce himself to anybody. He also grows his own plants at home, and he brings them in, and he says anybody can have them, and what we tend to do is we rock, paper, scissors for them to see who takes them home. And it's things like that, and that's the sort of the social side of it that we do get as well.
So tell us a bit more about today's event.
So it's a coffee morning that is happening at Wycombe Library, that Wycombe Library arrange. So they do it once a month, and they invite an external organisation to come in and just have a chat and sit with the people and talk about different things. So I think this is actually the second one they've ran. I don't know who the first organisation was, but I was invited to come in and join them at the second one. And so I accepted, and I will be there from 11 o'clock till about 12 or 1 o'clock.
So for anyone who can't make that, how can they find out more about volunteering or a bit more about Citizens Advice Bucks?
Well, our website is a big thing for that, so that's cabucks.org.uk. Or even just coming to one of our office doors. So again, Aylesbury, Buckingham, Wycombe, Chesham, Amersham, if you're in those areas. Just come and knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and somebody will come and have a chat with you. If you want to volunteer with us, we can get that sorted. The best way is the website, because I believe that's where the expression of interest form is, to actually express your interest in volunteering.
Really great to chat to Jon from Citizens Advice Bucks. Plenty of ways you can either benefit from their service or get involved yourself with some volunteering. Check out the website, or as Jon said, pop along to the coffee morning at Wycombe Library, which runs from about 11 o'clock this morning through until lunchtime. You can see him there. I'd be very pleased to see you.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.